Hey everybody, this is David. I'm in the process of completing grading your Module 2 assignments. And I've noticed that some of you still are challenged a bit with formatting your papers. And so what I thought I would do is take a look at the upcoming Module 3 assignment and give you an idea of how I would approach it and then how I would begin to format the paper. One of the things hopefully you know about me is I'm not a traditional academic. My background is in business, so I'm not so much about making sure that things are prim and proper. I just want to make sure that your papers communicate well. And one of the most effective ways that I've seen professional papers or even academic papers communicate is through the use of effective headings. And that just helps the reader follow your thoughts. It helps you communicate more effectively. It helps you communicate the importance of different things. And so that's why I do this. And so let's take a look at Module 3. And the assignment this week talks about selection, a needs assessment, training, and diversity. So that's the first thing that I do. I take a look at those things and say, okay, what is it that I need to communicate this week? And so if you look at the first bullet point, it talks about employee selection methods, and there are 3 of them. The next one, it talks about needs assessment, why it's important. The next one talks about managing workforce diversity. And then finally, the last one is on training. Now, what that tells me is that I am going to have 4 main headings in my paper this week. So let's bounce over to the paper. And here's what I would do. I go through and I typically have a dummy heading, if you will, and I just change it up every week. And so this week, rather than say assignment or module 3 point whatever, I have a descriptive heading. So this week we're going to talk about employee selection, training and diversity, the name of the course, my name, and then Charleston Southern University. And then if you use an abstract, make sure that that is on a separate page. And the interesting thing about abstracts, they are not indented. They actually start here on the left-hand margin. And then what I do before I get started writing anything is I go ahead and place my headings on the paper. It's sort of like an outline. Think of it as an outline for the rest of your paper. I can guarantee you that if your outline doesn't make sense to you as you put it together, your paper is not going to make sense later. And so I always start off with an introduction. And you'll notice that in APA, introductions do not have a heading. And so the introduction is there. They simply tell the reader what the purpose of the paper is. And remember, if you go back to the assignment, the first thing that you're going to talk about is employee selection. I do not repeat the question there. I have more abbreviated headings, so I'll use the heading here for this one, employee selection. And then I'll have some narrative in here that just kind of sets the foundation, because what you're going to be doing is listing 3 different employee selection methods or standards. And so the first one is reliability, validity, generalizability, and then you'll go into each one of them into more detail for each one of the standards. Now, look at this. This is considered a level 1 heading, since it is a main heading in your paper. These are considered level 2 headings because they support the level 1 heading. And so this is simply my outline, employee selection, and then I have discussions on 3 of the standards that support the employee selection. Remember, the next topic that you were to discuss was a needs assessment. And so that is a main heading. So you don't put it under here because it doesn't support employee selection. It is a main heading or a thought all its own. So that is centered and bolded. And then it requires that new main heading, and then you'll put your content below that. The next main topic was workforce diversity and inclusion. Again, it is a main heading. It doesn't support any of the others, so you center it and bold it and capitalize it. And then you have all your content below that. And then the final topic that you were to address in 3, or that you are going to address in Module 3, is workforce training. That is a new topic. It's a level 1 heading, but there are 2 components of workforce training that's included in the instructions, and that's about tacit knowledge and then knowledge management. Both of those, as you see, support that main workforce training heading. So those are considered level 2 headings, and they're placed over here. And then every paper needs to have a conclusion. I always tell people to do this at the end of your conclusion. Put in a page break, and it will automatically give you the next page open, which will be for your references. And so this is how, and I've done this my entire academic career through some of the doctoral work that I was doing and my MBA, and then in my undergraduate work. I would always start off with an outline, because an outline will keep you honest. It'll tell you and make sure that you're focusing on those things that you're supposed to be focusing on for that paper. So hopefully this gives you an idea and helps you out on approaching the next module, and will give you an idea on how to format your headings as you get started writing for that. Okay, talk to you later.